Okay, so on this channel, I've mentioned before that the NFL has lost $4 billion in 2020 alone. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why that is. I'm going to talk to you about why the media isn't telling you the whole story about this, and also who's going to be affected by this the most. Of course, it's the players. Talk to you about the salary cap and how that's going to affect them. Explain to you what that really is in case you don't know. And lastly, I'm going to tell you who the players can point a finger at for at least partial of why their salaries are going to go down 2021. And in case you don't know or have any suspicion of who it is, I'm going to give you a subtle hint. Sorry about that. I just had to do it. My name is Kyle, and this is The Conservative Take, where we take culture, TV, movie news, politics, and sports, filtered to you the right way. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. Also, if you'd like to help and support and join this channel, then please click that join button to find out how to do just that. So, like I said, $4 billion in 2020 alone. That is nothing to shake a stick at. I don't care who you are or what organization you are, $4 billion is a lot of money. I mentioned before, I'm going to tell you why this is, and it's pretty apparent. You read the media, but they don't tell you the full story, of course. So in this particular article here, I'm going to show you several, and I will tell you one thing. You won't find BLM or social justice in any of these articles. That's also a hint as to why this is happening and why the salaries have gone down and why the salary cap has gone down, why revenue has gone down. So it says here, highlighted here in yellow, I have the revenue's been down 16 billion in 2019, a drop of 25%. Revenues have been projected to reach $16.5 billion, and that being from 12 to 16.5, there goes your 4 billion. It says here that while the NFL played a full 16 game season plus the playoffs in 2020, games were played with limited or no fans in attendance because of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? That's this article here. This is WHBL AM. Here we go to SB Nation. Here we go again. The byline says dominoes could fall quickly and it's going to be wild, referring to the salary cap. How that's going to go down. Inside the article, again, no mention at all of BLM, no mention at all of social justice, as the COVID pandemic led to lower than expected earnings. And I'm not denying that. True, okay, because there's obvious things there, but they never set the full story. Now, there is one indication here I'll show you later in another article, but I think right now the narrative totally omits the social justice embracing of the NFL, their willingness to go woke, which we know if you do that, you go broke. And that's what's really not telling the full story. Here we have the NFL article on NBC Sports. It says here, NFL revenue drops from 16 billion in 2019 to 12 billion in 2020. It says here, even though the NFL managed to play all 256 regular season games, the league lost a large chunk of money due to the pandemic. No BLM, no social justice, no warrior woke mentality in here at all. Okay, going again. This is Sports Illustrated. This is again, all this is from this week. Report: salary cap drops 8%, 18.25 million for 2021. Now, here's a good time to talk about the salary cap and what that is. Again, down here it says in yellow here, lost revenue from COVID-19. No BLM, no indication at all any other factors that cause revenue to tank like a rock. Well, let's talk about the salary cap. Okay, the salary cap essentially is all it really is socialism in the NFL. What they do is they take all the money in the league and they split it up. Money comes down to ticket sales, comes down to attendance, parking, comes down to licensing rights, merchandising, any kind of revenue that comes into the NFL, even including the TV rights like Fox and CBS. All that goes into a big pot and gets distributed out. And the value for each team last year was $198.2 million for the salary cap, meaning that each team can spend that much money for players' salaries for that year, but they have a 3-year window to do it. So they can defer stuff up to 3 years. They have to use at least 90% of it. It gets really, really complicated. But that's the key thing you need to understand, is that It goes into that. Now, when the revenue goes down, when they redo the next year, guess what? Salary cap goes down, and the salary cap goes down, there's less money to pay for the players. And it's a huge deal, especially when you have teams that are trying to do things and you only have a 52-man roster. If you include there's another side roster that you can have called the practice squad. When you include all of the various players in there, then it's a small amount of money to go around, especially if you have a couple superstars. So when you don't mention at all BLM or the embracing of the wokeness culture, when you had articles in the previous year stating the exact opposite, it's really, really disconcerting. Let me show you a video that I did last year quickly. Let me show you this here. This is back in September of 2020. It says here, NFL Week 1 TV ratings have been released, and across the board, they are down in a big way. These decreases come during a time of heightened political sensitivity when NFL players across the league are participating in social justice rallies at record rates. Now, let me just say this. So this has been something that we've talked about on this channel, and it's been reported. And so like we said before, back in September of last year, that the NFL was suffering big time with loss of attendance because of fans just not wanting to come to the ballparks or support the NFL. In fact, they were burning jerseys and all kinds of things in protest, booing, to let people know that they were not about this social justice warrior narrative that they're trying to shove down our throats. And that's what started it. Now, of course, the COVID situation absolutely has an impact, but it was already going down prior to that. We even saw in 2019 it was going down, empty stadiums. Breitbart was showing almost every other day, every other week that is, stadiums being empty or having empty seats in them because people just weren't coming. One of the reasons why the XFL came to being is because there was opportunity for real football without all of that extra stuff that people don't care about. So you can go on the internet and do a search for NFL, and you will come up with a wokeness or social justice, and you will find tons of articles out there talking about this back in December, September of last year. But now for some reason you don't see that, because I think they're trying to push forth this narrative, having a revisionist history and trying to set it such that it's just the pandemic that's causing this, but it was going down anyway. Let's just take a couple of articles here. One here is TV ratings crash. This is from the Western Journal. TV ratings crash for NFL's social justice tinged opening game. This is on September the 11th of 2020. Ratings for the 2020-2021 NFL season opener between the Houston Texans and reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs on NBC flirted with a previous 9-year low. Got that article here. Let me see what else I have here. Okay, let's go over here to ABC. This article is NFL keeps stumbling in fight for social justice. This is from September 11th as well of last year. 4 years after Colin Kaepernick took a knee, this is where we are with the NFL. Talks about what's happening then with the booing of the fans and the revenue going down. Article is really good. This article is from lawenforcementtoday.com. Get woke, go broke. Advertisers grow concerned as NFL ratings continue to crash. This is from December 16th, a couple months later. And here it says, in fact, that game in the NFL season's week 14 where the Rams smoked Patriots showed 13.64 million viewers, a 24% decline from last season's Thursday night football average. During the same week, Fox's huge double-header game series that is popular on Sundays has seen a 20% decline in viewers just since last year. It goes on to say here, if the league doesn't turn the numbers around soon, the NFL could lose bargaining power when negotiating with network executives, and of course, they could lose billions of dollars. And speaking of billions of dollars, NFL ratings flailing advertisers are finally getting upset. Fewer and fewer TV viewers are seeing their ads. The ratings this year are so bad that the NFL is now scrambling to offer make goods to advertisers who spend vast sums of cash to appear on TV during games, but are now finding that the numbers are not what they were promised when they bought their ad time. So lots of problems here. You have Colin Kaepernick, And so the point is, showing you these older articles from last year is the fact that this was out there and people were talking about the decline of the NFL. And although this was part of the COVID pandemic, and of course we can't make light of that, I mean, it really was a factor. You have games on Wednesday, people weren't watching, but the core deal of it is that people were already turning away from the NFL, which is exactly why the XFL came to being. Go back and look for yourself. They can't hide the articles. They're still out there. They can't hide them yet. You look at the NHL. They only lost $630 something million last year. I know it's a smaller league, but percentage wise, it's minuscule compared to what baseball did, losing like $5 billion. And of course the NFL. But the big question is, what do you think? What do you think about all this, about the NFL losing $4 billion in revenue? Do you think it's going to come back? What do you think about this last season? Do you think that them saying they're going to not go woke as much this year is going to actually be true? Or is it just lip service and change the narratives through revisionist history and having the media cover for them like I apparently see them covering for them now? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to know what you think. Also, I recommend that you check out our Discord server at discord.theconservativetake.com. We have a lot of cool stuff out there. Also, if you want to support this channel and subscribe, please do so. And you can hit that join button to find out how to do more and support us that way. And as always, please check out some content that we have right here.